Hi there, in today's video what I'm going to be having a look at is one of the new features in the April 2018 release of Premiere Pro CC. And this new feature allows the use of hardware acceleration whilst exporting videos. And the end result of it is that I found that in some cases it can speed up exporting of videos up to 2 times. So I've been getting extremely quick exports from Premiere Pro, and this update really isn't very well known about at all. It's really buried in the release from Adobe, and I actually came across it from a guy called Paul Moon, who published an article on his website focuspulling.com. So credit to him for discovering this, and I've put the link to his original article in the description. On reading this, I thought I'd do my own testing. And if you have a look at, this is Adobe's page with the new releases, the one that's been getting all the headlines is the compare shot functionality, which I've done a video myself on. It's great. It's a new color matching tool that Adobe have added to the Lumetri panel. But way down the list of all the new functionality that they've added is something on hardware acceleration. And it just gets a couple of lines, doesn't really get much of a mention. But as Paul Moon pointed out in his article, it actually seems to make quite a big impact on exporting of H.264 video and even HEVC, so H.265 on Macs. But it does require a fairly specific set of hardware options that you need to have, and you have to go about and enable these. It's not exactly straightforward, put it like that. It took me probably 25 minutes, half an hour, working my way through my own computer, getting everything set up. So what I'll be talking about is taking advantage of the hardware acceleration to improve export times on the Windows platform. And in order to do this, what you need is an Intel processor with an internal graphics option on it. And you can find this if you go to this page. You can check if your CPU has this, and Intel call this something called Quick Sync Video. I'll put a link to this in the description as well. So I'm running an Intel 8700K processor, and I can see that this has the Intel UHD Graphics 630 on the actual processor. So what you'll need on top of the processor with internal graphics is also the ability for your motherboard to allow the internal graphics to be activated whilst you're also using a external GPU. So in the current build at the moment, I have a GTX 1080. That's obviously enabled by default, and that runs my displays. So what you need to do is to enable the internal graphics option as well on the processor, and you do this through the BIOS of your motherboard. Now, each BIOSes are different. If you go into the BIOS, I'm running an MSI motherboard, and if I go into my motherboard settings here, I then am looking for something, and obviously this will be different depending on your motherboard make. You're looking for something that says integrated or internal graphics configuration. And then what you're looking to do is to enable the integrated graphics option within this menu somewhere. So my one here is actually IGD standing for Integrated Graphics Display Multi-Monitor. I've set this from disabled to enabled, and that enables the integrated graphics on the CPU as well as my external GPU, which is a GTX 1080. Just be careful when you're in your BIOS, because what you can do is, say for example, this option here, which is Initiate Graphic Adapter, I have this set to PEG, which is the GTX 1080, so that's my external graphics card. If you change this to your integrated graphics, it will only enable the integrated graphics and it will disable your external GPU. So it's not necessarily that option, it will be something like this. Every motherboard will be slightly different. You'll need to read your motherboard manual or do some searching to see how to enable your integrated graphics for your particular motherboard. So now what we need to do is install the integrated graphics driver for your CPU. And you can do a quick Google for this, find it on Intel's site, and you can see here I am looking for my Core i7 8700K, and there is an option here, Intel Graphics Driver for Windows. So I need to go ahead and download that and then install that. You'll need to do a reboot. Once you've installed the drivers, if you then go into Control Panel and Device Manager, what you should then have under Display Adapters is now 2 options. So you can see I've got my NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080, which is my external graphics card, and then I also have that Intel UHD Graphics 630, which is the integrated graphics, and they are both recognized as display adapters. So in Premiere Pro now, if we go to Export and we get the export settings up with H.264 selected, if we scroll down, we'll now see Encoding Settings and Hardware Accelerated, and this is what you're looking for. If you have software only and it's grayed out, then you may not have properly installed the integrated graphics drivers. So just make sure that they're done and you've got 2 GPUs showing up, that integrated one and your external card. Now by selecting Hardware Accelerated, and you can pretty much treat everything as you would normally, so your same resolution settings, whether you encode with VBR1 pass or VBR2 pass or a constant bit rate, whatever your target bit rate is. This Hardware Accelerated should vastly speed up your export times. Now from my testing, what I found is that generally the longer the video, the more improvement. So I did a test exporting a video that was about half an hour in duration, and I saw almost double the speed of encoding time using the Hardware Accelerated. With a shorter clip, one that was around 3 to 4 minutes, I was only seeing an improvement of about 20 to 30%. So this is generally going to benefit those people that are doing exports of longer videos. It's really good to see though, because exporting is obviously completely dead time. Once you kick off a video, you can't do anything with it until it's finished exporting. So anything that speeds up this process is of great benefit. I'm a little unsure to why Adobe haven't made more of this update. Paul makes a fairly interesting point in his article that it's not exactly the easiest of options to get working, and that you have to spend quite a bit of time downloading drivers, going into the BIOS of your motherboard to actually even get it working in the first place. So it's probably why Adobe have buried it somewhere towards the end. But for those of you that can get this option working, you can see a great deal of performance in terms of your export times. So hopefully this video has been useful. If you do have any questions or comments, please drop them below. I do read every single one and I will do my best to get back to you. If the video has been useful, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I do also have a Patreon page, so if you would like to support the channel and keep it up and running, your support is greatly appreciated, and that is linked in the description below as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.